Okay. Hey, we're back. Well, at least a couple of our core investigators are back. Unfortunately, it looks like Wayland was waylaid elsewhere, I guess, for another bit. So hopefully we'll see him next time. But for now, we are going to continue onward and seeing what our core well, excuse me, what Dr. Fern and Annabelle were doing while Ronnie was entertaining our guest investigators. Then we're just gonna kind of like see their reactions to the office, and then we will present the mystery we're going to be doing today. Okay, so whoever wants to go first. Um, what do you think you've been doing while you were away from the office and Paranormal Incorporated? Um, I had made some suggestions in the Discord before. I don't know if anybody remembers, and if you don't, that's fine. I mean, just whatever you think you've been doing.
Dr. Fern wanted to do some more tests with the Guizer, which is the weapon that she has. And one of the things she thought of doing was finding a way to basically increase the distance at which she can fire this gun at a paranormal entity and have it work. One of the things she thought that she could really use to practice this with would be a type of laser, nothing super fancy, just hard to get, um, that she was going to put in to the weapon with a little sort of caved or polished glass in order to focus the laser into a specific place, just to sort of focus the energy into a specific area and make it go a little bit farther. The local university has one of these lasers, but she has been told not to be on campus because she is not a danger, but a distraction and a nuisance. So she decided to go at night. Of course, it's not going to be a nuisance at night. There's no students at night. It'll be fine. Unfortunately, security didn't like that, and then she got stuck in jail for a little bit until somebody posted bail for her.
Why didn't you call? You could have called. I would have posted bail.
Well, you were busy and you were doing your whole thing, and I just figured, well, I'll just call up Annabelle.
Next time, just give me a text. I can take care of it, okay?
Oh, Ronnie, thank you.
And, of course, like, what was Annabelle doing before she got the text about posting bail?
Well, unfortunately, she was out of town. She went on a trip to an amusement park to ride several roller coasters. And I just got inspired from the talk we had earlier. So while queuing for one of America's biggest roller coasters, she was approached by some people, and they gave her a card saying they're from the North American Roller Coaster Society. And turns out they invited her to travel the region, and she couldn't decline.
We are laughing so hard because of what Michael put in the chat. So we're dying. Oh God.
Oh, it's so good.
Just take the initials of what Annabelle said and just spell them out in your own head. Oh, this is already starting off so well. I love it. Okay, so you come back to the office now. You may not be aware because like we now have like a real space. So the office of Paranormal Incorporated, as brought up by Ronnie. I mean, just telling you guys this is where to meet and this is where we are, and you have your own like spaces now and such and so forth. It's on an upper floor of an unassuming building, and don't look too hard like around it because like it's got like a rickety wooden fire escape, and a DIY community library like right next door, which isn't being used anymore. Like it's actually kind of decrepit and fluid has gotten into it. Anyway, go up some unassuming flights of stairs, and you come into an office foyer, which just has a desk, a chair, a sideboard with a little Keurig machine, and like a mini fridge underneath. But then the door leading into the space itself, you see these double doors in front of you, and then a hallway that branches off on either end. And behind the double doors is the open plan space where we could meet and, talk or whatever. And then around it, if you go to the right down this hallway, it leads to the guest quarters with full shower and bathroom setup. And if you go to the left, it leads to your areas. So, describe how you have made your space your space. What have you done? Like, what is it? Is it a lab? Is it an office? Is it a bedroom of sorts? Is it a ritual room? I mean,
Mm.
describe what your space is in Paranormal Incorporated.
Dr. Ferns is all of the above. There's tables, some of the like fold out tables that you would have at community picnics and such, just stacked with one has all the weird like Erlenmeyer flasks and beakers and Bunsen burners and like all this stuff and colorful liquids, even though that's not really what it looks like in a chemistry lab. In this lab, it does, and like smoke coming out of things, and of course there's like a proper venting hood. Where it vents out to, I don't know. Does Fern even know? We're not sure. So one table has one of those. There's tables that are just full of scraps of like weird laser guns and maybe stuff she's stolen from the university. Don't worry about it. Just all kinds of stuff. In one of the corners is a cot, just a really small rickety cot with a pillow. She does have a sheet on the cot. She's not that bad. Um, the blanket she has is like an old Sailor Moon comforter. Uh, it's probably she's had it for forever. This is she definitely lives here. There's a whole table that's just full of like instant noodles, just packages of instant noodles she lives on. Yeah, it's kind of sad, really.
And then she comes in. Ronnie will come into your space. And when was the last time you washed that comforter? I mean, it's looking a little icky.
Oh, well, actually, and Dr. Fern goes to another table and pulls out a little spray bottle that has some masking tape on it. And you can tell that there was something written on it in permanent marker, but it's kind of faded and blurred out now. I actually made myself a spray on washer that you don't need to wash out. It works excellent. I've tested it. It removes 99% of bacteria from blankets and other cloth. It's very, very good. In fact, it's just as effective as hand sanitizer or other kinds of soap.
And what happens to the other 1%?
Well, maybe you should ask the soap companies the same thing.
True. Hmm. And my next question, and I'm almost afraid to find out what the answer is, where did you put the goo from the last trip?
Oh, she reaches under the cot, pulls out, one of those little plastic rollout things you can put under beds. Pulls out one of those. In it, there's like some clothes. There's what looks like maybe some scalpels. Just kind of throwing things out of this bucket of stuff, and then pulls out a jar. And again, it's still that sort of, I think it was a mason jar that we used. She's duct taped the top of it down so that just in case, there is a masking tape label on it, and written on it in permanent marker says ghost goo. Yeah, here it is.
Didn't you say you didn't know when this would wear off? That,
Yeah, that's why I figured I'd keep it close.
but what happens when it reconstitutes?
Then I shoot it again with a gooizer.
Ronnie
Ronnie, you're
has to,
overthinking this.
I have to think about these things because otherwise the office might be a mess.
My office is perfectly. And you look, she's looking around and it's piles of shit everywhere. It's just chaos in here. But when you look at it closely, all the piles are actually like meticulously arranged. Everything like is with like. So it's like it's organized in some sort of weird chaotic way.
From behind their back, Ronnie pulls out some tall cup from Timmy Stars, like the coffee shop that's always ubiquitous around here. All
Is
right,
it a double double? That's
it's
the
a
only
double
thing I
double.
like. Thank
It's a
you.
double double. Here you go. And then Ronnie
Jeez.
has to leave, otherwise there's going to be more words, and you don't want to hear those words. Ronnie
I'm
goes
sorry,
to
I'm
check on.
dying at Timmy Stars. So good.
Yeah, we're gonna visit Timmy Stars at some point. Not today, but I mean, like at some point.
Uh,
Anyway,
okay.
so now Ronnie spins out and goes to visit Annabelle. Annabelle, what is your space like?
So I think it was intended to be an office, but it doesn't look like one because there's like equipment for you know there's a ring light, there's the cameras, there's a lot of different outfits. So basically, she turned it into a studio to record like Instagram or TikTok videos, Instagram pictures. Um, and there's like fashion magazines everywhere and piles of clothes and shoes and different accessory. And yeah, maybe you just catch her while trying stuff out.
Isn't isn't Annabelle a bit of a technophobe?
Well,
You don't think that?
Dr. Fern pokes her head in. Good job setting all of that up, Ronnie. It looks great in there.
you have to make concessions for art and fashion.
You do, and you look fabulous. So I mean,
Hmm.
this is good for you. This is good. I mean, if you want a presence, um, then you must be able to brand yourself and market. I mean, like right there, those glasses. I mean, like she's completely serious when excuse me, Ronnie is very serious when they're admiring your glasses because
Hmm.
they're just like over but fitting for Annabelle. Like she just looks great. So, what's the next TikTok gonna be about, Annabelle? Remember, it's got to be short. It can't be really long because nobody's gonna pay attention. Trust me. I mean, oh God.
Well, didn't they change it? So I could make a series.
You could, but again, it's like little tiny bits. You know.
Hmm.
I guess we could cut it up in post. I suppose. I mean, could try that.
So how long is the attention span of young people these days?
Uh, I don't really look at the statistics. I just know from watching my cousin do her thing like over in London, and yeah, I mean, it's almost like she cuts herself off in the middle of doing something because it's like their attention span is so short. So,
So can I just send you the 2 hour video and you edit it?
sure. I can
Great.
totally. You know what? You have content for days, and I mean that. So, yeah,
Fabulous.
we can totally do it. Great. I hope you're wearing an outfit like, every 3 seconds. That'll be great. Yeah. No?
And you see her wandering off picking outfits and she's not really paying attention anymore.
Okay. All right. Bab. And then Ronnie turns and goes back to the foyer. Okay. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and introduce our mystery for today. Um, And of course, I lost it on my screen. Amanda, do you have it up? Because now I've got to find mine, and you can go ahead and present the mystery. All right, found it. Okay. All right, so today we are going to open with another night at the Whaling Museum by Jason Cordova. This mystery features elements from the Brindlewood Bay Mysteries, A Night at the Whaling Museum by Calvin Johns, and The Long Dark Tea Time of the Solace by David Morrison. I've looked over some of the mysteries of Brindlewood Bay, and I really love The Long Dark Tea Time of the Solace, so I'm excited for that part of it. Complexity is 5, and tone is PG-13. So again, we have our character keeper, we have our safety tools, and our lines and veils marked. So, with that, let's see. Presenting the mystery. The Brindlewood Bay Whaling Museum and Education Center, located in the nearby coastal vacation town of Brindlewood Bay, has recently acquired a figurehead and other artifacts from the wreckage of the 19th century whaling ship Lodestar. Patrons and staff report strange, possibly supernatural occurrences ever since the Lodestar exhibit went up. Paranormal Incorporated could use a vacation. So the team has rented rooms at a local bed and breakfast, Snowdrop House. As soon as they sort out the paranormal business at the museum, it's a week of fishing tours and antique shopping. Establishing question. One of you has a great aunt who lives in Brindlewood Bay. She loves a good mystery and is a member of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club. What's her name? And I want you, Amanda, you know who the hell I want for this. Okay. So, I think you're on mute. I'm not sure.
Sorry. Sorry. I thought you wanted to be your aunt, great aunt.
No, I think Una is more fitting for this.
That is fair. So Dr. Fern does have a great aunt who lives in Brindlewood Bay. Her name is Una. Now, Una is...
Wait. No. Una.
Oh, God. That's a good question. Una what?
A really long last name.
I did that on purpose
I
just
know.
to mess with Jason, and now
It was beautiful.
I regret it.
That's why I wanted to bring her up.
Jason, if you're watching this, I get what I deserve here. This is the vengeance that I deserve. Okay, Una von Grimmelshausen Krychek Smith.
Or as Michael put it in the chat, Una regret.
Una regret it.
Oh,
I do.
God.
Now, Una is really into armchair cryptozoology. So, things like hunting for Bigfoot or looking for Loch Ness monsters, etc. Except in a much more localized, quiet way, because she is an old lady. She is particularly obsessed with certain Brindlewood Bay monsters, such as Brissy, the Brindlewood Bay sea serpent, the brown basking shark, which is 3 times the size of a regular shark and 3 times as mean, the Brindlewood Bay fish sucker, which is like the goat sucker, chupacabra, but this one sucks fish, the Brindlewood Bay butterfly being, which is a man-shaped with fuzzy body and head and glowing red eyes and butterfly wings, and of course the Brindlewood Bay ape monster, also known as Largefoot.
My question to you is, well, before we establish, excuse me, the goal and all that, my question to you is, how does your great aunt Una feel about Dr. Fern, and how does Dr. Fern feel about Una?
Oh, they're besties.
Okay,
they get along like wildfire.
Oh,
actually,
gosh.
When Dr. Fern was young, she used to come out to Brindlewood Bay and during the summers and stay for a while and help her her great aunt and her great aunt's wife at the time, who's since passed on, just around the bay doing whatever they were doing. Una used to be a veterinarian, so, helping out clean out the cages and whatnot. Yeah, it was they get on like wildfire. And Una writes Dr. Fern all kinds of letters. She still writes letters, very old school, about all the different murders that happen in Brindlewood Bay because there's a lot of murders for some reason that happen in Brindlewood Bay. It's kind of a strange town.
Yeah, Ronnie's like, seen the research or at least like the stats and just, well, hopefully we don't run into any murders, or if we do, then I'm hoping that it's just the after effects and we only see the paranormal side of it, if anything. I don't really want to see gore if we can all help it. Okay? All right. So, the goal is to identify the supernatural entities haunting the Whaling Museum and perform a cleansing ritual to get them to move on. We're going to begin the game with the investigators checking into Snowdrop House, and that's our starting location. So let's see. Oh. Okay. All right. So anyway, paint the scene. You haven't been in Brindlewood Bay long, and already you have seen signs that the supernatural may extend beyond the Whaling Museum. What about Snowdrop House gives you the creeps?
So I think there's one room we're not supposed to enter, and Annabelle, of course, is curious and open the door, and it leads to a different dimension. So there's kind of a portal thing, and maybe we see her dropping in some spare change and doesn't come back.
Just casually throwing in a portal to another dimension. I love it.
And then she carefully closes the door again.
Snowdrop House. I mean, this is clearly a newish bed and breakfast. It looks like it's just been refurbished, renamed from some other old bed and breakfast. Why are there so many bloodstains on the carpets? That's weird. Kind of creepy.
I think I think after checking in, like Ronnie's gonna kind of look around. I mean, see what's nearby, see what's on the grounds. I mean, like it seems very comfortable and homey. I mean, it's a B&B, so of course it's like kind of be cozy. It's gonna be like intimate and such, but it almost feels like it's tucked back into like a midst forest area. Yeah. And so as Ronnie's like, just kind of taking a walk, I mean, they're got their beanie on, like maybe got a little jacket over their usual black t-shirt and black jeans and combat boots and stuff. Actually, what Ronnie's wearing is like a duster, a la Matrix duster, just because that's what they like to wear. It's chillier here in Brindlewood Bay, really chilly, where it comes like feels like it's like in the bones, which is wackadoodle. Um, Maybe out in the forest, like they can glimpse some hooded figures, but like as soon as they try to look back and from their peripheral vision to actually look, it looks like shadows in the trees. All right. So, after you settle in at the B&B and NPC visits. So, we need to draw an NPC card, and again, the NPCs, since we're missing Brent today, like we'll go ahead and just kind of share the duty. So, go ahead and draw an NPC card, Amanda. That is spades.
We have the 2 of spades.
2 of spades. All right.
Once again, I'm using my Dragon Age Inquisition cards because they're
so
beautiful.
Cool. They are. All right. So 2 of spades. Oh, okay. Well, that's actually fitting. Weird. All right. So it is Dr. Catherine Burko, the curator of, I guess, the museum. She comes in like she's bespectacled looking. She's like really tired looking, kind of haggard. Um, we don't necessarily recognize her right away because I mean, like, we're not like local. But um, the the bed and breakfast owner or the clerk will kind of point her out, and then the curator will actually come over to us because I guess Una's been talking about us, and then kind of like like maybe talking a mile a minute about like what the work that we do, and so um, Dr. Burko, sorry, losing track of the person's name. Let's see. Yeah, Burko. Yep. She knows why we're here and shares a little known fact. A museum staff member went missing around the time the Lodestar exhibit went up. Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple, hoping to quell rumors that might dissuade people from vacationing in Brindlewood Bay, has been keeping the disappearance out of the papers. So we're going to begin play by heading over to the Whaling Museum, Brindlewood Bay Whaling Museum, and we're going to check it out. All right, so... Okay, so this is the point where we would draw a location card to start, and I believe we're also supposed to draw a paranormal event card as well. And then we will see what we're going to see when we get to that particular location at the museum. Okay? So hearts, please.
5 of hearts.
Okay. So go ahead, Amanda, since you've got hearts, you've got locations.
Mm-hmm. Let me. Oh, I closed the thing because, of course, I did. And we have the Scrimshaw Exhibit. The Scrimshaws found here are intricate and slender, the art of bored sailors on long voyages. Paint the scene. This room was the site of a murder several years ago. What subtle evidence of this is present even today?
I don't know. Well, again, because of the reputation Brindlewood Bay has, yay. Ronnie's like looking at the floor and then seeing like the remnants of. There's still remnants of like the chalk outline. What the hell? Oh my god.
What's with all the blood stains? That's kind of weird, right?
So this is something you could X if it's not fitting to gross, but I think there's some scrimshaws made from human bone, and obviously they couldn't throw them away because this fits the exhibition perfectly.
That's so terrible, though. It's like, oh my god, you guys are so gross. I mean, it doesn't hit my lines. I don't know about any, like, either of you, but I mean, it's just like, of course they would do that. Okay, so again, we can do our thing. We can go around to like another part of the museum, like separately or together, or we could just do some investigation here. So who's doing what? And then we could figure out like the paranormal event. Did you draw a paranormal event card, Amanda? It's a diamonds, sorry.
Not yet, no. 2 of diamonds.
Okay. All right, so let's see. 2 of diamonds. Just for funsies, let's see. You know what? Like, we'll hold that in reserve until, one of us or all of us, whatever, does an investigative move or discovery move. Sorry. I'm trying to get used to the terms again. And then, wherever else we want to go. So, Annabelle, do you want to stay here? Do you want to go check out another location? Um, what do you want to do?
So I think I am not really interested in talking to Dr. Burko.
Okay.
She's around as well.
Yeah.
And so I probably leave the room.
Okay. All right. So for Annabelle, like, let's go ahead and draw another location card and a paranormal event card. So heart and diamond card for
Are we going to
Annabelle.
use the diamond card that we just pulled, or you're gonna?
Yes, because we're
Okay.
going to use that for this room. Are you going to
Okay.
stay in here, or do you want Ronnie to stay in here? What do you think?
I'll stay in. I'll stay in here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 of hearts
Okay.
for location.
Okay. So let's see. 3 of hearts for location.
Mm.
Hello. Come on. Oh wow. Okay. So let's do. Okay. So history 3. History. Okay. Annabelle. And then what's the paranormal event card?
9 of diamonds.
9. Give me a second. All right. So Annabelle, we're gonna deal with you in a minute, but let's. I'm going to have, or if you want to play Dr. Burko while Ronnie talks with her, and then Dr. Fern can discover. There we go. I think I got it.
Sure.
Okay. So, Dr. Fern, you can make your roll or pick one of your moves to do, and I'm going to talk. Ronnie's going to talk to Dr. Burko. So, when did your staff member disappear? I mean, it didn't happen, like a few days ago. I mean, like why couldn't, Sheriff Dalrymple like take care of it?
I don't know anymore. I've been in this town far too long, and it's just unnerving. He's obviously not fit for his job.
You're looking like, you'd want to be elsewhere as well. I mean, this is not like a great place for you. I mean, are you looking to go elsewhere?
Well, I was destined to get a tenure at Yale,
Gotcha.
but sadly, I lost the bet, and now I'm here.
Oh my God, you're. Oh, okay. Oh,
And I have to work here for the next 5 years as well. So, yay me.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh goodness.
So what were you asking? Can we make this quick?
No, that's okay. You know what? I mean, I can totally look around myself and like see.
No. Sorry. I'm already bored, so you won't bore me anymore. Go ahead.
No, I do apologize. I don't want you to feel like, you have to be beholden to me. I mean, like, we're just doing we're just gonna do our investigations around here, and we're just gonna see what we're gonna see. We're gonna just try to help out. I mean, don't worry about me. It's like if you have other things to do, like, leading some of the tourists around, then you can go ahead. It's great. It's wonderful.
Do you know who comes to these kind of museums?
Who?
Ignorance.
Well, I mean, maybe they're interested in whaling. It's great. I mean, you'd
Who's
know.
interested in whaling?
Evidently, you are. And so
Well,
Ronnie turns.
yeah, but I have to be. And then she continues and probably walks away,
Right.
talking to herself.
Right. Okay, so Dr. Fern, what did you roll?
Forgot to roll.
I know you were so interested in our scintillating conversation. Well played,
Um,
Michael. Very bored.
so I'm doing a discovery move. I'm going to be looking around at some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, it'd be more of an intuition roll, I
Oh,
believe,
nice.
because not really sure where to look, just kind of looking around, seeing what catches my eye. And I got a 7.
Okay.
So on a 7 in the discovery move, there's a complication with either the clue itself or something you encounter while searching. The player on your right, or a random player, if you're playing online, will describe the complication.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to say that the complication will be whatever paranormal event that you drew.
Yeah,
So that
which
would
was the 2 of diamonds.
two of diamonds. All right,
So
like
yeah,
two of diamonds.
I think what's happening here is Dr. Fern is getting really close and looking at these scrimshaws because these are, I mean, these are works of art. These are moments in history. It's even possible that one of these might even capture something like Brissy, the Brindlewood Bay sea serpent, in the art itself. And how amazing would that be, you know, for not just for Dr. Fern, but for Great Aunt Una? That would be just absolutely wonderful. So yeah, she's really kind of looking at the art in the scrimshaws
I think she's actually like kind of like muttering to herself as well, like as she's getting so excited because she can't wait
constantly.
to well, but also to the excitement for not only herself but
Yeah.
also for her great aunt is just like
Yeah.
palpable. It's palpable. We
And
can
not just
touch it
that,
and poke it.
we're at a museum. What is more fun than a museum?
Of course, she would think that. Anyway, Ronnie has gone to the other side of the room, like, cause they know, like, you know what you're like when you're at like these educational places. It's wonderful. Um, Michael. So for the clue again, I think it was said it was
Yes, a 2 of diamonds.
two of
Oh, okay. Let's have a
oh
look.
wait,
Of course, diamonds.
two of no for the clues it's of
Oh,
clubs.
clues. Clubs we
Clues.
haven't drawn, but
Oh,
we did
okay,
get a 2 of clubs. So
okay, okay, great.
Okay.
So go ahead and read the clue first, but then I'll complicate it with a paranormal event.
Okay. So
You would
there's
pick one, or you can read them off and then just pick one,
oh
yeah.
whatever you think that Dr. Fern finds in her discovery.
so there's money missing from the donation box, a pile of bones in an unusual place, a smear of blood. And I think the clues. It's probably the bones, an unusual place.
Okay. Hmm. What kind of unusual place for bones? I mean, anywhere in a whaling museum, unless it's like whale bones, would be kind of unusual. I think
So,
actually maybe in one of the arts, like one of the scrimshaw art,
mhm.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
looking
thinking.
really close.
Bef-
There's
yeah, before you find it though, before like as you're like looking and like you're really trying to discover this picture that you want to find for your great aunt Una, you get this vision where you are suddenly plunged, the whole room, and your vision is plunged deep underwater. Like you can feel like the suction of like the pressure of the water, like weighting down in your eyes and your body, and then it just goes whoom, and then shoves you back into the present.
oh, I think Una. I'm not Una. I'm Fern. Dr. Fern goes falling into the scrimshaw. Like I imagine they're kind of probably behind a thing, so people don't touch them.
Right.
But falling into it face first, just from the effect of that sort of vacuum type of feel. And that's when she notices, face right into this scrimshaw, there is an image depicting a whale. Strangely enough, a whale that looks very similar to the whale out in the lobby, that's up hanging from the ceiling. And in this art, the whale's mouth is open, and inside the whale's mouth, it looks like the bones of dozens of humans.
Creepy. If somebody can throw that into clues. I mean, yeah, the clues for this. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Okay, cool. All right. So, and of course, I didn't take out my dice. What's wrong with me? Holy crap.
We were faffing about a bit before we started playing, so I think we
Yes.
got a little
Got a little behind.
distracted.
Yes. Okay, so like while Ronnie is figuring out where they're going to be investigating, so let's cut to Annabelle. All right,
Mm.
and then let's see. We drew three of hearts. So let's see, three of hearts. Okay. I'm sorry, Amanda, did I give you locations or did I give me locations? I don't remember.
I had paranormal
Mm.
events, but if I did the first location anyway, if you want to take paranormal events, and I'll take locations.
Sure, that'd be great.
Fantastic. So
So,
the three of hearts I don't have open because I was getting myself some coffee. This is
need
a
them
very
caffeine.
casual game today.
Oh, please, please do. Well, I mean,
This is the History of Brindlewood Bay exhibit. A single projector plays a video about the history of Brindlewood Bay on a loop inside of a small auditorium full of uncomfortable seats. Paint the scene. If you watch the video long enough, you notice things in the background that the narration doesn't cover, but are unnerving or even terrifying to behold. What do you see?
oh, that's easy. So, in a few of the scenes where it looks like there may be like people walking, there may be, like some important buildings like that are being discussed in Brindlewood Bay, there is this shadow, a many tentacled shadow that
Mm.
is drawn across the background. And it doesn't, it not noticed at first, but if you're really watching the video, as you're watching the video, you can pick out like where the shadow appears in these scenes.
One of the scenes depicting some ships at some docks, and it's sort of like a long lens type thing where people are unloading and reloading the ships. The narration is talking about how Brindlewood Bay was such a busy port for the Atlantic Ocean and for the area of, I think it's Massachusetts that Brindlewood Bay is in. Anyway, for New England. But in the distance, you see, very far in the distance, there's an oceanside cliff and what looks like people, a group of people standing in a line and walking and just casually jumping off the cliff and disappearing before they get anywhere close to the water.
Wow. Um, so there's like it's not really fully depicted, but if you pay close attention, just sometimes between different scenes, different moments, it's just a blink of an eye, but they show the autopsy of a really big creature and people getting into it and getting stuff out, but it's just a blink of the eye. Probably have to watch the movie several times to notice it.
Indeed. All right. So, what kind of investigation discovery is Annabelle doing here? Are you using one of your moves? Are you using the discovery move? What would you like to do here in this projector room?
So let's have a look.
Especially if you've watched this video and seen these things, I mean,
Hmm,
like it feels like Annabelle would be like sensing something, I think.
yeah. So I do have that move, but it means I get a
Oh, it has
personal
to be
haunting.
okay. That's fine. You don't have to use it. I'm just like mentioning it because I'm like just thinking like,
Yeah,
oh, because there's gonna be some creepy stuff happening. Don't worry about it. But like, whatever move you're doing, especially if it's discovery, we need a roll for it, and then
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
So I'm really paying close attention to the movie. And wait, didn't just people jump off a cliff? Now I have to wait like 20 minutes till it appears again, because then it's all the history, other stuff happening, the baking contests and such. It's all documented. So basically, I'm doing the discovery move, and got information, describe how you're doing so, and roll with appropriate modifier. Yeah, I'm just paying attention to the movie and trying to focus on that. And I think that might be wits. And let's see. I do have my fashionable glasses, so I think those could help as well. Is that like another die or +1?
I believe it's advantage, right, Amanda? Like if you're using one of the personal, excuse me, the backpack things, it's like I think it's a
Yeah, I think you get advantage on it.
yeah, which means you roll with 3 die and then take the
Okay.
2 highest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that didn't go that well. So it's a 4.
Okay, hold that thought. Let's see. Hold on. I wanna make this fun. Let's see. What was my? Okay, so that was 9. Okay, so as you're trying to take a look around, you are in this uncomfortable seated like auditorium, and then you see like from not only the double doors that you kind of came into when you wandered in and the film was running, but you also see like 2 wing doors, I guess, that kind of go behind the projector area. I mean the screen area, and I guess like go to a different part of the museum or the back or what have you. You see a bit of movement catches your eye as you're trying to watch the film, like I guess in the second run.
Mhm.
You see a figure hunched, and underneath the running of the narration of the movie, you hear these squelchy, sickly sucking sounds, and it looks like this figure is draped in seaweed, and it's creeping around like you see it through the door, like going, and it's creeping in that back hallway area.
Well,
What
since
do you
I'm
do? Let's find out what you do first, and then we're gonna take a break.
yeah. So basically, I try to hide, not move too much, and think into
I love it. So you're like
the seat.
hunching down into the seat. Okay,
Yeah,
that's perfect. That is perfect. Love it. So let's hold there, and then like let's take 5. So like I think on my clock it's like 22. Yeah. So, all right. See you in 5. Okay. So where we have left off is that poor Annabelle is like trapped in the projector room of the History of Brindlewood Bay. Um, In this case, I'm going to say that Ronnie has like wandered away from the Scrimshaw room, and definitely to get away from Dr. Burko to just kind of like see what there is to see, and then catches a glimpse of the figure that is in the room, or like that's like nearing the room. So, I'm just going to combine this with a discovery and using Coffee Runner just to make sure that I can get a 12 plus on this, just for funsies. So for clue discovery. Oh, well, that's cool. All right. So, and then this would be, I'm going to say wits for this. So that would be a 10 anyway. So it's fine. Um, so Ronnie is coming into the room. Go ahead and draw another club card, Amanda, if you don't mind. Um,
We have the 9 of clubs.
9 of clubs. So, Michael, if you could be so kind as to look up
Mhm.
the 9 of clubs and let us know what Ronnie finds.
So- Um, mhm. So can you describe where you located at the moment in the room?
Yeah, so um Ronnie comes in as like making a ruckus. So I mean, like, they know that you've kind of like, wandered away and like kind of like, Annabelle, Annabelle, and then like as they're coming in, like they're like looking at the movie, but not really watching the movie as Annabelle had. I mean, like kind of just like looking amongst um the chairs and then just checking out the surroundings in the room. Um and then I think the figure has gone to the other doorway and left the room when Ronnie came in. So,
Mhm.
so what do you think?
Um, so basically, you stumble upon uh, a book, and that's it's laid open, just when visitors write in their names and maybe how inspiring the exhibition was and how great the city is and whatever. And there's evidence of a history professor from Boston who went missing 2 years ago, was here in this very museum. And that's like the last time any sign of them being alive was recorded.
Shit. Oh, shit. Yikes. Oh, curiouser and curiouser. Oh, shit. I know.
Yeah, so I don't have a name, but we can
No,
come up with one
yeah, I mean,
together
like
if
that's a
this.
contextual thing that we can come up with later when we
Yep.
figure out how we want to solve this. Yeah. Okay.
And
All right.
also,
Yes.
I think it's always possible to retcon something because
Mm-hmm.
maybe um, what's her name again, Dr. Burko?
Yeah.
Maybe she was at the University of well, somewhere in Boston or something, if that's necessary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, again, we can pull context like where it's appropriate, and again,
Mm.
it's built that way so we can figure out how we can make it. You know,
Yeah.
and since some clues don't even work either. So I mean, like,
Mm.
I mean, I've seen tables that, wow, they've amassed so many clues, and guess what? They've only able to use like 6. So whatever.
Mm.
Um, because I think we did that like for the last episode, which was, I mean, like we had more than enough clues, but we didn't necessarily use all of them. I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. But anyway, regardless. Okay, so Ronnie's looking at this, and then see the looking at the guest book, and then like their head perks up, and then sees you huddled amongst the seat. Annabelle, what are you doing over there? I mean, are you watching the movie? Like that posture is gonna like kill your back. You know that, right?
Did you see that creature?
Uh, I there was somebody passing through. I mean, I thought it was a security guard. You all right?
Well, maybe, but they were covered in seaweed and making strange noises, so probably not. I'm not
Huh.
sure. It's the first time I visit here.
Yeah. Well. my first visit too. But I mean, like, if you listen to Dr. Fern, you know all about it because of her great aunt being here. So hey, come look at this, and then like Ronnie will wave you over, and then show you the information on that history professor. It's like, check this out. Somebody went missing here 2 years ago. What the hell?
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like this staff member disappearing, and then now this staff member's disappeared, and then this happened 2 years ago. I mean, I don't know about you, Annabelle, but this town's creeping me the hell out.
Yeah, don't mention it to Dr. Fern. I think she likes it here.
I know. Well, I mean, like, look at her great aunt. I mean, my God.
Well,
As soon as-
she's cute. She's really nice.
Yeah, no, she's very nice. I'm so glad that we have a contact here and stuff like that. But damn, like, when you listen to her talk about all those creatures around here, holy poop. All right, wonderful. Let's go over here and let's see how Dr. Fern's doing. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Dr. Fern, you found a clue, and then just for funsies, let's go ahead and do another location, like another. Let me see. Yeah, let's go do one location. Like we'll all.
Yeah,
meet.
I think after discovering that, Dr. Fern would probably leave the Scrimshaw exhibit and go somewhere else, presumably looking for the other two investigators. But
Sure.
I mean, it'd probably wander into some other room.
Yeah.
Look while on the way.
Yeah.
What are locations? They're hearts. Oops, that's the wrong pile of cards. The 2 of hearts.
Okay.
Lots of 2s happening. Over here so I can keep the things together.
Ooh.
The Deep Reaver exhibit. Yeah. Very excited about this already. Artifacts from the legendary whaling ship fill this place. Audio playing on a loop explains how funds from the Deep Reaver's final voyage helped build the town into what it is today. A metal plaque gives thanks to the Krause family of Boston for funding the Deep Reaver exhibit. Paint the scene. Detailed drawings on display show the unusual whale the Deep Reaver caught in 1877. What's so unusual about this beast?
A quick question.
Yes.
Is this like an inside joke, Deep Reaver?
Yes, it's a
Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay
Reference?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. We don't have to stick to like Brindlewood Bay mythology because you don't have to know Brindlewood Bay to play this game. So we can make our own mythology.
No, fair enough. But you can also just give me the basics and
What happened is
work.
the basics, the very basics of Brindlewood Bay mythology is that this ship, the Deep Reaver, went out, did a big voyage. When they came back, they brought back something really spooky. And this spooky thing, because of this, they were able to make this town really rich, make it sort of this huge hub. And it also it's the reason why spooky things happen in this town.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of moida.
And a lot of moida.
So if you haven't played Brindlewood Bay or watched any of our stuff, watch Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay is great.
Mm.
Yes, go play Brindlewood Bay, but not right now. Watch this first.
Right.
But yeah,
I've
the
only
Deep
played
Reaver.
it too short, so
Yeah, the whale isn't really like your standard whale. The idea is it's something spooky, and then think of it kind of like it kind of curses the town.
Yeah,
but also makes the town rich. It's a weird thing.
It's almost like the Fog. Like the old Fog movie with Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah,
type of thing. They did some shit and they shouldn't have. Okay, so for these are detailed drawings, yeah? So
detailed drawings on display show the unusual whale the Deep Reaver caught in 1877. What's so unusual about this beast?
What they've done, whomever did the drawings, I mean, like I think it's the same. Like we're gonna say it's like like several different people that have done it, and this is what they have on display. Well, one of these artists, what they did was when they did the drawing of this whale, you can see that they drew humanoid looking arms coming out of its mouth. Yeah.
The whale in one of the pictures, one of the drawings, again, very detailed. This is sort of just a drawing of its facial anatomy, the physiology of what its face is like. And it's got weird human-like teeth.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
And whale is also in quotes too, Michael, so you can
Yeah.
play with that any way you like.
So one drawing. Well, it's not really clear. You have to get really close to notice, but it looks like the the whale is still alive and lives on land and gets fed. And you can't really make out what it is, but it doesn't look like human, like animal bones or whatever they feed them.
Okay. Oh, let's also draw a diamonds for a paranormal event just in case. And for funsies, let's also draw spade for an NPC to come into the room.
Our spade is the 6 of spades.
6 of spades, okay. And then our paranormal...
And our diamond is the Jack of diamonds.
Oh, I don't think we have face cards in this.
You're right. Our diamond is not the Jack of diamonds or the king. It's the 6. It was the 6 the whole time.
This is creeping me out. Oh no. If the next card comes out 6 in a different suit, we're like, I'm running. Okay, just so you know.
Yeah, we have 3 2s out. We only have 2 6s, so that's no. We have all the 2s are out actually.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
All right.
2 6s though.
All right, so let's look.
I did shuffle, I promise.
What do you want to discover here before we try to cut over to me, to Ronnie and Annabelle, and then we'll see what you're going to see.
I think in the Deep Reaver exhibit, I am going to be looking at the artifacts, looking at things that came from the ship, not like, you know, big fancy things like gold or whatever they might have had, but smaller things that were belongings of the people who were on the Deep Reaver, you know, things like the wheel of the ship and you know, the cook's knife, things like that, the little things.
Yeah, they would have the littler things underneath, like the glass display case that's done up flat, and like you see the little placards, and then like they have stuff as tiny as like the little flint boxes, and the like maybe like a really corroded pipe that somebody had from a long time ago, and then you know, what have you. Go ahead and roll. You haven't already?
I have not, because I'm not entirely sure. I guess I'm not sure of what would this be. This would probably be intuition again, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure about going about the rolls. Let me just go take another look at the...
I mean, if you're taking your time, I mean, I would always assume it's science, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As I said last time, I've always thought of like the intuition roll to be very similar to rolling with sensitivity. Like you are trying to get in touch with that cosmic passage, like, you know, strange part of yourself to connect with the weird,
Yeah.
So
I think, in this case, definitely it would be more science. Like, I think she was just kind of trucking through the exhibits, going to find the other two,
yep,
and then
yep.
just getting distracted, like mid-step by something shiny
Yes.
and
Or not
going over.
shiny, like it's corroded, but it's fascinating.
Yes, that sort of shiny.
The tools,
Yes.
like the weird tools that they might
Yeah,
have had.
that's cool. I want to see what those are. So Dr. Fern goes over and looks. So using her science abilities
Mhm.
to figure that out. Hilariously, science. It's not. Well, I guess it is kind of one of my better ones. And that's a 5.
Okay. All right. So, a couple of things
Well,
happen.
you could use your personal haunting, right?
She could. She could.
If you want
Oh,
to.
Yeah. Have you done a personal
yeah.
haunting
I
yet?
haven't done one yet. Yeah,
Oh, we
I'm
want
gonna
to hear
do that.
this. Come on, like pick it up.
Let's do that.
I want to give you complication. I don't want to give you a complete mess. Jesus.
So how does the personal haunting work?
You pick whichever. You don't have to mark them in order. You just it's you pick one. You will narrate like after the scene is over, but you bump up your die roll to the next tier. So it would be a 7 to 9.
Sweet.
You
Yeah,
would just complicate your life a little bit.
I love complications. That's one of my favorite things.
So
Let me go look at my playbook.
yeah, I can give you a paranormal event, and then we can also see if it ties into the NPC that we have picked out.
Perfect.
Because Michael, you can play the NPC, and then I will see what the paranormal event will be.
Sure.
Oh,
Which card was spades again?
uh,
6?
The 6.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. Oh dear. I'm just looking at the NPC before I get to the paranormal event. Oh my god,
Wow.
this is great. Okay. So like when you have that picked out, you'll narrate after the scene is over or whatever.
Yeah.
But so 2 things happen. As you're looking at the display cases and what have you, you are you're just like so engrossed and like, oh my god, look at this stuff, it's like so great. I mean, like, you're looking at the sextant and the old compass and the whatever, and as you're doing this with your hands, because like you're just like just so excited, you see suddenly that your arms and your hands are suddenly encrusted with barnacles. You get the flash of like they're heavy, and like you feel this like this weight, and then just like you feel the texture of your skin, even underneath your skin, of these barnacles clinging to it. And then somebody interrupts your vision, your thought, with Ghost Bro comes in.
Hmm. So just a question: is the quote mentioned to considered to be read out as well to get a
Yeah,
picture of the
well, I mean,
character?
you can introduce him as like any way you want, but I mean, he's literally like this is the guy. He's like interviewing himself. I mean, like
Yeah, filming himself.
that guy. Yeah, go ahead.
So you probably hear him before you actually see him first, and when you turn, you see, yeah, kind of good-looking guy, but in an oversized hoodie. He's got chiseled facial features and a fuckboy haircut. And it's Zach Thomas, the Ghost Bro, who got a YouTube channel. And yeah, they pretend to hunt ghosts on that channel. So basically, when he enters, he's speaking into his phone and says, "Hey guys, I'm here at the Brindlewood Bay Whaling Museum and Education Center, and I already have a chill running down my spine. The level of paranormal activity here is like so high, you guys. Seriously, there's going to be lit. Before you watch any further, be sure to like and subscribe. Oh, hi there.
Dr. Fern kind of shakes out of her stupor of looking at her weird barnacle arms. Oh, hi. Are you here to what's all this? This recording and what is that? A selfie stick?
Yeah.
Huh.
Zach
Hi.
Thomas. What's your name?
My name is Dr. Fern. It's a very nice pleasure to meet you. I couldn't help it over here when you walked in that you were looking for some spooky things here at the Brindlewood Bay Whaling Museum and Education Center. Have you seen anything spooky?
And he turns out his camera. Dude, there aren't any ghosts here around.
Oh, well then. I do love a skeptic. Come with me. And she's going to loop her arm into Zach Thomas's arm and sort of half drag, half force him along her adventures here.
Okay, draw a club card because we're gonna give you a clue for that. That's awesome. You've got
10 of clubs.
Okay, 10 of clubs.
You gotta have bait for ghosts, and you have to have somebody to experiment on. There has to be a lab rat. This guy's gonna be an excellent lab rat.
You kill me. It's so good. So good.
10 of clubs.
So should I pick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You still have clue. Yeah, you still have clues. Yep.
Let's go with a circle of half-burnt candles in an unusual place.
I like that. I think Dr. Fern very simply kind of drags Zach over behind these tables that have the glass panels on the top with the different artifacts within them, and over to a spot where there are these candles, half burnt. They're all out now. In a half circle behind sort of one of the panels that has a picture and a little poster and a little explanation about the Deep Reaver. It's strange though, because the candles have that, just blown out smoke. The smell when you just blow out a candle, you just blow out a match. That smell sort of permeates the air. It's like somebody was just here, had just lit these candles, had just blown them out, but there's nobody around. They would have had to go past us. Well, was this you? Wasn't me.
The camera is still out. Dude, I'm a Bro-fessional. I wouldn't do such a thing.
I hate Zach. I want him to get eaten by the ghost. Bro-fessional. So good. Well, how about you stick with me? I think we could be very useful to one another. You see, I'm a professional as well. Professional, sorry, not Bro-fessional. It's probably a different thing, I'm sure. Whatever that means, Bro-fessional.
Let's cut over to Annabelle and Ronnie. This is too fun. I'm sorry. Okay, so please draw a location card, a heart, please, and another diamond card for paranormal event.
So, oops, that's a face card. Get out of here, face card. We have a 6 of hearts.
Oh my god!
And a 5 of diamonds.
5 of diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what I did last time, which was because of the 3s coming up in, well, 9s, whatever, coming up in succession, I'm going to make the 6 by 6 by 6 a clue.
Ooh.
Because it's too damn fun and too damn creepy, because this is what's happening in our game right now. Oh my god. So, that's a clue. All right, whether we use it or not, I don't care. It's just like, oh my god. Okay, so 6 for location. Ooh, All right. So on our way, back to trying to find Dr. Fern, who has wandered away again. Can't keep track of her. Should put a tracking device on her, like Ronnie's thinking, contemplating in their head. Um, Amanda, go ahead and read the six of hearts. Yes, please.
Oops, I was on the wrong page. The whale room. In the center of the room, suspended on the ceiling from wires, is the skeleton of a sperm whale. Paint the scene. How do you feel when standing below this titanic creature's remains?
So I'd say Annabelle almost is a bit frightened because it's such a huge skeleton, and she actually makes sure neither her nor Ronnie stand exactly beneath it.
And that's appreciated, Annabelle, because I mean, like Ronnie is also a bit creepy. Well, I mean, the whole experience. I mean, even from back at the freaking Snowdrop. I mean, just been this like underlying form of creepy. We have to name our town, by the way, like where our actual office is, because I mean, like like being in Brindlewood Bay is just just a surreal experience, comparably, because of all the supernatural crap that we're dealing with right now. And and Ronnie almost gets like a flash of their claustrophobia, because just looking at this thing, it almost kind of makes Ronnie feel like they're being projected into the skeleton itself, and like feeling trapped and closed in, even though it's massive. It's just like this is a humongous education center, and it's just this feeling of being trapped in this body, even though it's a skeleton, you can see out of it or what have you. It's just like this weird vision that they have. And yeah, I mean, it's almost like both Annabelle and Ronnie are like doing the keep back gesture to each other. Because it's like, are you getting creeped out too, Annabelle? Because I know I am.
Well, we shouldn't take any risks here. Who knows how long that thing's been up there?
That's true. I mean,
It's still stable.
yeah, that's true. You know what? Let's check out the walls and see if there's like anything interesting to find or what have you. Like maybe they have like display pictures or display information, right? Um, if this is like an education center, I also feel like they would have something like not the audio loops, but just the little screens where you press the button and it just kind of gives you
Hmm.
some information,
Yeah.
because they have the skeleton up top. They also have stuff along the sides, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that that's our. I mean, unless you want to do a different move for that. I mean, Ronnie's going to do discovery by pressing the buttons.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, and this one be science, because again, like just looking at the different things and reading things. Oh, that would be a two. We need
We're really not doing
rolling.
good.
Oh, this is bad. Okay, so don't forget about your personal haunting after like our scene's over, and I'm gonna do a total personal haunting because this is horrific. Um, okay, so 5 for the diamond, because I mean it still has a complication on it, and then if you want to introduce an NPC, go ahead and draw an NPC card too. Might as well use them up. Okay.
So we need a diamond and an NPC.
I think you already did the diamond for the paranormal event. It's just
Oh, yeah, I did.
the
Yeah.
spade. This is a spade we need.
We have the ace. Do we have aces in our thing? I
We
believe
do.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Right.
Okay. So, let me.
Ah, the museum owner.
Hmm.
Go ahead and. I mean, do you want to be the museum owner, Amanda? And then
Oh, yeah.
I will do like. Go ahead and be the NPC first, and then I will introduce the paranormal event.
Fabulous. So George Pollard museum owner, anxious comb over ill-fitting suit. George has owned the museum since the last owner couldn't make it work financially, and he's not having much more luck. Why? This is an amazing museum. Anyway, George kind of comes in, and he's kind of short and pulled in on himself, and he's kind of wringing his hands worriedly. Well, I don't know what's mutter. Some of the bells of the fort. Ah, hello. I hope you are enjoying yourselves. It's so nice to see patrons at the museum. Are you having a wonderful time? My name's Mr. Pollard. I own this museum, and I just would. It's just so nice to see people here.
Are you okay, sir? I mean, you seem worried. I mean,
Well,
this is great. I mean, I just so you know, I mean, like
oh,
Ronnie's trying to keep it together a little bit, just because it's like kind of creepy in this room. But I mean, it is nice because of the little buttons on the wall and all that kind of stuff.
yes,
Um,
we had those installed. We know people. We did some marketing tests, and they do like buttons. It's just well, yes, you know how it is when you're running a museum. Kids these days, they prefer VR and RVs and all those things. And don't get me wrong, we have, it's really important work we do here. It's just a bit of it's expensive to run. And my great grandfather served aboard the Deep Reaver. It's so important to me that this place exists. But finances are tough, so it's just wonderful to see patrons enjoying themselves. Tell me, do you have a favorite um exhibit or thing you've seen that I could, maybe possibly feature or focus a bit more to get more people in?
well, we were in the. I mean, I saw a bit of the history of the Brindlewood Bay movie. I guess. I mean, that was kind of cool.
Yes, put together by historians even and video people and editors and whatnot.
So Annabelle has been listening to your conversation while keeping her distance from the giant skeleton. And she turns to you and asks, so do you have an employee that wears a costume? Like covered in seaweed or something like that?
I I mean we're not really a novelty museum. Do you think that would get more people in? Do you think that would be something people would enjoy?
Maybe you should get like a mascot, like, whale,
Okay.
something cute. And
Okay.
Ronnie
Yeah.
will notice this, that Annabelle just turns the conversation towards that, how to design a cute mascot
Yeah,
and not
and
focus on the case.
Pollard is like full in on this conversation. Anything to make this museum work because he is desperate. Yeah, like
Hmm.
Willie the whale maybe? No, that's like that movie, and we don't want to get sued by the movie people. Wayland the whale?
While this is happening, and remind me again, Amanda, did you pull a club card for the clue yet?
I have I was at the 10?
I don't remember.
No, I think that
I
was the
think we've had
previous
that
clue.
one.
Okay.
The 10 was
The
the
10 was the
burnt
previous one, yeah.
candles.
So
Okay,
this
got
one was the 8 then.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, um, we're gonna experience a paranormal event, and then as Ronnie's looking around, it's like if you can figure out the appropriate clue for this. So while you're talking with George, and while Ronnie is looking around, we both feel this, Annabelle. We both feel cold. First, it comes off as cold on the back of our neck. Then it comes up as like the distinct touch of fingers that are wet against the back of our neck. And they're stroking the backs of our neck. And it's like, like you can, I mean, like as you're talking with George, you can see the grimace, the terrible grimace that's starting on Ronnie's face, like, and then their shoulders get like all weird and like kind of like, you know.
Mm.
um, so yeah, Ronnie's gonna be like looking around and trying to distract from what they're feeling. Um, what does what does Ronnie find as a clue?
So I'm just trying to figure out how you would stumble upon rumors.
Oh,
Should this be a flashback scene or something someone mentions? Hmm.
well, I mean, given how supernatural it's been, I mean, you could literally make this part of like the button pushing, like instead of
Oh,
an
I
article
like that
about
one.
what you who's it's like like the whaling in like like
Yeah.
this week in 1896. I mean, it's actually like some kind of like article written up about the headline stating rumors about blah blah blah.
So basically you look around and there's obviously they didn't think it through. There's screens and buttons, sure, but it's not really fitting because a lot of the stuff you're looking at is focusing on the history of the museum,
Mm,
and that's really boring. And when you press a button, there comes like a short video that talks about the previous owner, Oscar Pollard, and it's mentioned um, for some that George Pollard been running the museum since his cousin. Um, well, it's never been proven that he's dead, but still, George has inherited the museum. So yeah, and it goes into details about the strange, untimely death of the previous museum owner. They never found a body. Well, there's this like video of George actually being filmed, and I said, "Why are you filming this? They never found a body. Don't keep this in, or maybe keep it in. I don't know. Maybe it's interesting."
oh my god. And just like Ronnie's like like it's definitely taking away from the feeling of the
Uh-huh.
fingers because like their face is just like and then looks back at like you like Annabelle talking to George and going I mean and that's literally the look that Ronnie gives you is like
Hmm.
uh.
Hmm.
All right, so um we can cut back. We can have one more scene if you want, or we could try to play with the clues that we have right now, or we could just kind of like, you know, goof around a little bit more in Brindlewood Bay. Um, actually, just for funsies, just for funsies. Yeah, let's do this. So this whole thing plays out. I mean, maybe Annabelle like finishes her weird conversation with George about like things to do for marketing the museum or something, and then Ronnie's like kind of like gesturing to you like let's go out of the room, and then Dr. Fern, are you still arm in arm with like Zach DeBro?
Yeah,
Oh no.
absolutely. He's gonna be my experiment. He's my test subject.
Uh,
Okay, so yeah, we get away from our conversation from your conversation with George, and then like we come upon you guys, and it's like, who's this, Doc?
This is Zach. He's a professional.
Ronnie's eyebrows go way up. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fern's just nodding like, mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would let him, well, I guess I suppose if he's the professional, we're tagging along with him, just exploring the museum and seeing what we can find. Um, it seems, I don't know about the two of you, but I've certainly found this experience to be interesting and very much related to our work.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
So basically, I've told Fernie already there isn't any ghost here. You don't
Basically,
mind me call you Fernie, right?
You go ahead and call me whatever you like, Zach. It's not going to matter that long. I mean, you know, we're just friends. We're going to be museum buddies for a little while, and you know how it is when you make a museum buddy. You stay with them for the whole museum, and it's like having a summer camp buddy. You just don't hear from them ever again.
So you don't mind if I turn on the camera again?
No, please. Go right
Because we
ahead.
could make this into great content.
This is going to be amazing content. And I think Dr. Fern's going to lean over to Ronnie and be like, we've got some free, like, advertising with this guy. He's going to put it up on the YouTubes.
I mean, but the
He's
thing
probably
is,
got hundreds of followers. That's what they call them, right?
yeah, subscribers for YouTube. I guess I don't know if we want to be associated with a professional.
Oh, you know what they say. All advertising is good advertising.
Do they say that, Doctor?
Oh, I'm sure somebody said that. Well, Zach, let's take another look around.
So when I turn on the camera, all of you just say my catchphrase.
And your catchphrase is
A broha.
a broha?
Yeah.
It's
What is
like
that?
aloha, but with a bro
Oh.
in it.
Yeah.
Ronnie has to
I
turn
mean,
away because their expression is just like, what the
and you
fuck?
see Annabelle shakes her head. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, people have been criticizing me, but that's cultural appreciation.
Appreciation is not the word I would say, but I'm glad you're happy.
You know what? How about this, guys? How about this? And you don't need the camera for this, Zach. I think.
Yeah.
I think we should kind of like stop off somewhere and then like get something to just snack on. I mean, I don't know about you and you guys, but I mean, it's like Annabelle and I just had a long conversation with the owner of this place, and it's like I just feel for some reason like parched, and so yeah, I wonder if they have a late night Kate's around here. Well, I mean, it's a little early yet for that, but I mean, like it's worth a try. I mean, they have some really great ice cream flavors and stuff. So, what do you say, Doc?
Are you aiming for another location?
Well, this is going to be aside from, since we're already in creepy ass Brindlewood Bay, and I established in the last episode that Late Night Kate's is kind of a magical place. Why not? Let's make this our little interlude.
Okay.
Yeah, probably
Okay, and
ditch Zach. Not take him.
I
You
want to
can.
feed him to a ghost.
You can, well, okay, wait. So, Late Night Kate's is a magical place. Okay, so like just think, kind of fayish. um, let me go and like Ronnie will like take out their phone and then like look it up and it's like, hey, there is a Late Night Kate's nearby here. So like I mean, it looks like they're open. Not necessarily open like as late as the one over by us, but I mean like at least they're open now and they have some awesome ice cream flavors, guys. I mean like come on, let's go and like have a break, all right, and then we'll figure this out. And then just kind of she wags her, or they wag their eyebrows over at you, Dr. Fern, like so we can do that later. there's an interesting message in the chat, and it's like we shall do that later. Definitely for sure. Absolutely. Um, so we head over to Late Night Kate's, and it looks from the outside, it looks the same way that it did in our town, which is like kind of like a you know nice little door, like window to door with the little tinkly doorbell. I mean the yeah bell at the door when you open it up, and then we step in. There's black and white tile, no booths. It's like kind of an old timey cafe type of thing with the spindly tables and chairs, like with the little curly cues, and you can seat 2 to 4 people at each table. They're all away from the walls. No booths. The only thing that's against a wall would be the ice cream displays, like underneath the glass dome, and then the counters. Um, you don't know that, Dr. Fern. There might be booze here, but it may be a different type than you're used to. Just so you know. So anyway, we go up to the counter, and the clerks are all wearing like vibrant, but not so harsh, um, of polo shirt like colors of polo shirts. So stop. Paint the scene, which I had asked in the last episode. What about Late Night Kate's gives you pause, given your personalities, gives you pause to know that this is not an ordinary place? And what ice cream flavor or flavors do you order?
Strangely enough, it does look, like a regular kind of style diner. I've been in diners like this before, or at least Dr. Fern has. Dr. Fern does notice something strange. All of the electronics, the digital clocks, or, there's refrigerators, stoves, etc. Usually in diners, you can see some of them from the
Oh,
main.
this is the ice cream cafe.
Oh, the ice cream cafe. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the freezers, etc. Nothing's plugged into anything, and there's no hum of electricity. Somehow, this is happening. Not even the lights are humming, which is something that the Dr. Fern notices right away. But she shrugs it off because ice cream is ice cream, and orders. Looks at how many flavors?
You can't tell.
I love it.
Yeah.
Infinite flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Looks at the flavors and gets a double scoop in a waffle cone. Chocolate dipped waffle cone, of course. Chocolate dipped waffle cone of pistachio and cricket.
And they have it. So, I mean, it's not going to be not the flavor will be different for Ronnie because Ronnie will try something different. But
Oh,
the feeling that Ronnie gets when they come into Late Night Kate's, it doesn't matter which one, it's the same thing. As soon
mm,
as Ronnie steps into Late Night Kate's, I mean, it's there's no steps down or anything like that. It's like completely flat from street to inside. Ronnie always gets the feeling of falling in the pit of their stomach every time they come in here. So, and then the flavor that Ronnie gets this time is they want to try something different. I mean, like, it's a new location, even though they sense somehow that Late Night Kate's will always deliver. So this time Ronnie will get avalanche chocolate. It's a new type of flavor. And then when Ronnie tries it, because they let them sample it with like the little wooden spoon or what have you, it's like as soon as Ronnie puts the little bite into their mouth, there's this sensation of being awash in chocolate, but then also this amazing cooling sensation of this ice storm and this like these this cave-in of ice and just in chocolate as well. So the tastes on the tongue come one at a time and then all together and then one at a time again. And that's all in just the one wooden spoonful. It's like a scoop of avalanche chocolate, please.
So when entering, a detail that gives Annabelle pause is that the guests and people working here seem to wear fashion because she's got an eye for fashion from different times, like different decades, and it's really mixed and matched and doesn't really fit together. But she's really fascinated because there's like some clothes she never seen before, only magazines or books, and maybe she really stares at people sitting next to us for a bit. And I think she'll order one scoop of asparagus ice and one scoop of bourbon.
Did you say bourbon?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens with your order, Annabelle, is that they will deliver. Hmm, it's almost like done up like an Art Nouveau plate.
Mhm.
So it's like this bare like white plate, so shiny that you can almost see your image in it. The asparagus ice has a single like asparagus spear like coming out of it. But it's cooked, but it's not cooked because obviously it's asparagus ice. It's very strange. And then the bourbon is done up in a square, like, very, very shallow square, rectangular dish. And you can almost see the bourbon flowing, but it's ice cream.
Mhm.
And the girl behind the counter, as we get our orders, looks at you, Annabelle, and admires your outfit and says, "That is so cool. I love the glasses." And then turns to Ronnie and then goes, "Where's your friend?" Now, again, you saw the other episode. This is the same woman that was back at our town that had flirted with Patty. and
Oh.
Ronnie just does a double take and say, "Wait, you're working here too now?" And she just winks at Ronnie now and just doesn't say anything as she's handing us our orders. So, oh, and I'm assuming Zach is still with us. So, what do you think? Do you think Zach notices one, anything? And two, what do you think Zach orders? I'm just curious if he's with
Think,
us.
yeah, he's oblivious. He doesn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Most bro-y thing. Axe spray and whatever it would taste like. Whatever, okay. In dating profiles, bros always have a picture of them with a fish.
Mhm.
Whatever that flavor is.
He's probably on his phone and he's probably not paying attention. He's kind of like waving, "Yeah, whatever, whatever." And then the woman behind the counter actually like hands him a cup that looks like it looks like a beer stein, and then like coming out of it looks like some kind of like mudslide, like the drink and the ice cream or whatever, and then out of the mudslide is like this little fin
Mm.
coming out of it. Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't notice. He's like literally like, "Oh, mug, cool," and then like he starts to chug it. And we're all looking at him like, whatever our respective faces look like looking at him do this, that's what they look like. It's like, okay. So, yeah, this is our interlude. We all have our ice cream and enjoying it as we will, and then we can go back to the museum. Or we could, do a theorize at this point, like freewheeling discussion or whatever, if you think we have enough clues, or if you kind of want to, like, wait a little bit, and gather more, whatever you want to do.
We have enough clues. We could, because what is the complexity here? It's 5, right?
5, yeah.
5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
I mean, we've been rolling like crap, but we could.
Yeah, no, right? It's like, do you really want to risk it? I don't
I
know.
do. I believe in us.
I believe in us rolling like crap. It's great. Oh, before we do the theor, are we going to theorize or are we going to get more clues? What are we doing?
I think theorize.
Okay, no, that's cool. Let's take a 5 before we actually theorize, okay? Because
That's a good idea.
I've drunk too much water and coffee right now.
Mid.
So, 29. Yeah, according to my
Sounds
clock.
good. See you
Okay.
then.
See you in a bit. Okay, so we are going to get to a theorizing. So let's look at the clues. All right, Michael, you want to go ahead and read the clues that we've collected so far?
Yeah. So let's have a look. Okay, here it says.
Yep.
A pile of bones in the whale's mouth. Scrimshaw art. It's the first. Then evidence that an American history professor from Boston who went missing 2 years ago was last seen in the Whaling Museum. A circle of half-burned candles in an unusual place. 666 as a symbol. Maybe we have to flesh that out.
Yeah.
It just occurred in the game that we drew the 6 several times, and rumors about the strange untimely death of the previous museum owner, cousin to George. Body was never found. Okay. Does any one of you have an idea?
I do. It's very silly.
Okay, wait. Well, let's remember the goal. Identify the supernatural entities haunting the Whaling Museum and perform a cleansing ritual to get them to move on. So that's the thing. Okay. What's your silly thing?
The ghost of this American history professor who was obsessed with the Deep Reaver. When he came to the Whaling Museum, it was to do a ritual. It ended up making it so that he became part of the Whaling Museum in such a way, which is why he can do things like make half-burnt candle circles and stuff without people seeing him. What he was planning to do was use things like arcane symbols and rituals and candles and stuff like that to bring the skeletal whale in that the big giant sperm whale back to life on occasion, to use that. He's trying to make it so it'll always be back. And he could always manipulate it, but he's not quite there yet. He's still working on it. It's bringing this giant whale back to life and getting it to feed on people, both physically and, spiritually. It got cousin George, who owned the museum. That was the first victim. We know that this is something that happened with the Deep Reaver because we saw the pictures of the whale with the bones in its mouth. We know that this is part of the magic that this Deep Reaver can have, and that's the American history professor knew about that and has come to make it happen for himself, to be the ruler of it.
But I mean, like, what happened to him though? What did he do to disappear?
That's a good question.
You think he fucked up the ritual?
Maybe, yeah. And he's trying to.
Oh, he's trying to do it again with the candles. That's him trying to.
And making the 666 happen.
Yeah.
Spooky things.
Yeah, and we experienced the cold, wet hands.
Yeah, and the barnacle things.
Yep.
And then the seaweed covered water. Creature.
Yeah.
Walking by.
He's become sort of a ghost of this museum, trying, he fucked the ritual up once. He's trying to redo it so that he can have that power back and come back. but it's not quite there yet.
But we
have to
don't
stop
want
him
him
before he gets
dragging
in.
anybody out. Oh shit. Because again, the reason that we're here is because of finding out that the one museum employee disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
You think she's a victim too?
A victim, probably, yes. I would say more than an accomplice.
Yeah. I mean, she probably discovered what he was doing and then probably
Yeah.
was made to disappear.
And I mean, most of the time he can get away with not people not knowing, because there's not a lot of patrons at this museum. Not a lot of people come here. That means not a lot of people have to work here. Anyway, that was my pitch. Basically inspired by Night at the Museum, the movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but okay.
It's cute.
Okay, I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, it's a cute movie.
But I mean, like it sounds really good. I mean, you know, again, we're trying to get this person to, well, again, if we get this person to rest, it feels like he's gonna ask for sacrifice and then to actually do this thing. I mean, that's no, we don't want anybody else to disappear on our watch. That's a no-no.
We'll have to figure out how to undo the ritual he did, I think. The original ritual, and then get the local authorities to deal with him if he comes back to life, or he'll just be dead forever.
Or just kind of cleanse him so this way he's not here anymore to do
that's
shit.
True. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Or Guizer him.
You could do that too. Maybe this is the instance where we consult the handbook of the recently deceased.
I like that.
Making them peaceful. Like, all right, here we go. Once per mystery, when any investigator says, "I read about this in the handbook of the recently deceased." Okay, so work with the other players to describe how something happening in your situation is documented in the handbook. Guide for paranormal investigators. At a minimum, you must provide the following: name the paranormal event. Okay. Describe the problem or situation a ghost might experience that is related to what the investigators are experiencing, and describe how the ghost problem or situation was resolved. Okay, so paranormal event was this dude, like in the handbook of the recently deceased, was trying to perform a ritual to bring back the spirit of the horse, like, you know, their horse, for whatever reason. So it sounds similar to this, like where this guy seems like to want to bring back the spirit of the whale. And then they messed up the ritual, but I mean, it's a simple fix according to the handbook. Making a simple fix is by mimicking the ritual that they did.
Okay.
Like, involving the pieces, but doing it backwards. So kind of undoing the ritual is what will resolve the ghost problem of feeling like they continually have to do it, and make them not be banished necessarily, but at least like give them some peace knowing that it was done, even though it isn't. Like we're undoing it by doing it backwards. So that's my that's my proposition for that. So we don't have to roll on Theorize if we're doing it this way, and we get a 12+, so we succeed.
I feel like that's not how the move is supposed to work, but we're going to make it work that way.
We're going to make it work that way, because it's like, oh my god. Because I honestly don't want to go up against this ghost, because he's already messed up in the head, you know?
Yeah.
And has made 2 people disappear, at the very least, if not more. And in Brindlewood Bay, we know people, we've found out that a lot of people die here. So, it's a wonder that they have anybody left living here, including your aunt and her friends. Oh, Jesus.
So
I mean, what do you think of that plan?
we should do a ghostly encounters move then, since we're trying to uncreate this ritual? I feel like there has to be some sort of role involved.
Absolutely. Okay, remind me how that works again.
The ghostly encounters move. When you have an interaction with a ghost while investigating, choose one from below. You may ask the ghost a personal question. You may receive a. Oh no, these are not what I was thinking.
Okay.
That's
Ghostly
basically
encounters
just a
are here.
cozy move.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even aware we had them, but okay. It's fine.
Risky move is what I was thinking.
Okay.
Risky move. When you do
Okay.
something risky or face something you fear, name what your fate will happen if you fail or lose your nerve, and roll with an appropriate ability modifier. Which one of us is going to be doing this backwards ritual? I feel like it probably should be Annabelle.
I think so too.
Since,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and worst comes to worst, it's like, I could do my move, which would be
Yeah.
to quick thinking it if something seems to be off.
yeah. And I can also goo eyes everybody if necessary. That won't help, but it'd be fun.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Oh, and then
So-
don't let's not forget two things that we must remember before we sign off today. One, Dr. Fern and Ronnie need to do their personal hauntings.
Yep.
And two, you two must have that satisfying epilogue at the Snowdrop that you want.
Yes.
Mhm.
Love it.
So
So what are you afraid will happen, Annabelle, if this does not succeed? Or if you mess it up or lose your nerve?
So, just to clarify, is this,
A risky move.
yeah, but there's nothing like in the between where someone else says, and it's even worse.
we can do that because we're all keepers.
Yeah, we can do it if you want.
Yeah, we can totally do
It's
it.
worse than that.
Sure, let's do that.
Love
So I think I'm afraid that if I mess this up, I will actually complete the ritual.
And we have an alive sperm whale in the museum. Love it. Sorry.
It's worse than that. Not only will you complete the ritual and bring this deep Reaver whale entity to life completely and give all this power to the historian that was trying to, but this historian will have Zach as his right-hand man and bring him up to an extreme level of power, and the two of them will take over the town, world, whichever.
Oh my God, this is. Never mind.
Ah.
Jesus. And Zach will do a dance off at the on the roof of the Snowdrop because he can. He'll be like,
Yeah, it'll be the worst.
thing
He'll get
ever. We
many
must.
followers.
We must succeed. We must
We
succeed.
must succeed.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think I'll roll this with intuition.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's spooky.
And let's see, with
Any backpack stuff you want to do?
yeah. I think my glasses, since they're supernatural, will help.
Yeah. It'll help you focus your
Yes.
attention.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
So basically, it's you see, or the viewers see the three of us, and we kind of recreated a circle of candles, and we have to reverse it. So we have to, they're already lit, and we have to do everything backwards, basically. So what she does is using her skill of pyrokinetics to I don't know the word, just to unlight them.
Yeah. To snuff them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
I forgot that she had
Ah.
pyrokinetic power. That's rad.
So that's a 13.
Yes!
Whew.
Mm.
And okay, so just for funsies, I'm going to narrate a Brindlewood Bay clue. I don't know. Void clue.
Well-
We could do
What
a
clue?
void clue. I could do a
Well,
void clue.
on the 12 or above, not only do you do what you tended to do and hold steady, but the player to the right or any random player, if you're playing online, will tell you some extra benefit or advantage you receive. Describe what it looks
Perfect.
like. So,
Mhm.
Mads, if you're going to do a cool void clue, I think you could probably find a way to tie it into an advantage that Annabelle will get,
Oh yeah.
maybe like a positive condition or something,
Yeah. No,
or
absolutely.
item.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
Love it.
Okay. So, you want to go ahead and like narrate like what this looks like when you quiet the guy or to banish him, to cleanse the museum of his presence.
Yeah.
Now that you've just like essentially like, undone what he was trying to do.
So probably all of us, Dr. Fern, Ronnie, Annabelle, they hold hands, and um, she tells the both of you to close your eyes and don't let go, even though you might feel or hear strange things like those fingers coming again up your neck and whatever. And there's like a terrible roar of waves, and you feel cold wind and salt water in the air, and the candles go out, and there's like um, a very angry voice shouting, "This was not how I planned it." And yeah, basically that history professor appears for a second and comes back to not to life, but materializes, and it's all backwards, and they're banished from the museum. And she tells you, okay, now you can open your eyes.
Did Zach see all of this?
I think by now he's going to leave, because that's not how the plan was
Right.
supposed to go.
Sure.
Perfect.
Hmm.
I hate Zach.
But I mean, like, we can still meet him later at the Snowdrop.
Yeah, if we need to, we can
Yeah.
always invite him over.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes well. It goes off without a hitch, and you're able to feel like now everything feels lighter in this museum for whatever reason. I mean, like, where it felt really wackadoodle before. I mean, at least now it just feels like it's more calm. It's like more quiet and just okay, good, good. We can actually breathe a sigh of relief. Um, when we leave the museum, and let's like say it's like dusk, right? So we were spending the day, and then we went to late night Kate's, and then came back and figured this out. It's dusk, and it's blue and purple twilight, and this you can start seeing like the dim glow of stars up in the sky. And what seems to happen is that there seems to be some sort of spreading darkness, even amongst like the peaceful twilight. And then it feels like there's fingers or tentacles, the shadow of this rising into the sky and blotting out some of the stars that we were so used to seeing. And as it rises into the sky, you can see the constellations that are trying to peek out, but then their constellations change into something completely different. And as this is happening, Annabelle, you feel something being slipped into your pocket. Do you check it? I mean, there's like passerbys, and we're outside of the museum right now. There's passerbys or what have you, and you
Yeah.
feel something being slipped into your pocket.
I was curious.
Take it out.
Probably in her coat, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. A very fashionable coat, by the way.
Mm. So do you have anything in mind?
Yes. So
Hmm?
It is a black card
Mm.
with a phone number on it. That's all. It's a phone number. If you decide to call it, I'll let you figure out what is on the other line.
Cool.
All right. So, you want to do the personal hauntings right now, Amanda, and then we will go ahead and do the epilogue at the Snowdrop. All right. So I can't remember what I picked. Hold on.
I can do mine while you're looking for yours.
Yeah, please.
I am going to do a personal haunting called Lab Rats. Narrate a scene where you used another investigator as a test subject against their knowledge. It's late at night in the town where Paranormal Inc. is located, which is a town we all know and will be established at some point, I'm sure. We see Dr. Fern, ladder in one hand, big bag in the other, one of those little like headlamps that you can wear. And she's kind of happily walking down the street in the middle of the night. On the other side of the street from where the street lights are, trying to keep to the shadows a little bit, she's humming to herself just under her breath, just a nonsense song. And she stops outside of a place that we know as Annabelle's house, where Annabelle lives. Dr. Fern goes and puts the ladder against the side, climbs up to the window, opens it up. It's not locked. She made sure it wasn't locked when she was over earlier that day. And she throws her bag inside, hoists herself up, leg over the sill, hoists herself inside as well, lands in the kitchen, I suppose, with a thump. There's a quick flashback to earlier in the day when Dr. Fern and Annabelle were meeting up and having maybe some tea or some such thing. And of course, Dr. Fern, little moment where Dr. Fern drugs Annabelle's tea so that she'll have a nice sleep later tonight. And goes and unlocks the window so she could get in later. Dr. Fern is back into the nighttime again, and she's bringing her bag into Annabelle's bedroom. Annabelle is sound asleep, some nice loud snores even coming from her. And Fern looks down and says, "Oh, sleeping like a little angel." Opens her bag and pulls out this helmet, this silver helmet that looks like a silver colander with little bits and pieces poking out of it with little lights and buttons and wires. And she hauls Annabelle up so that she's sitting against her headboard, props her up against the headboard, pulls the colander helmet down over Annabelle's head with the little wires. Out of the bag comes a small machine that looks kind of like an old-timey ham radio, and starts plugging bits from the helmet into the machine, takes the little thing out of the helmet that looks like little earbuds and sticks it into Annabelle's ears, pulls the blankets up over on Annabelle to make sure she stays warm, because this is her friend. She doesn't want her to have a bad sleep. Flicks on the button that you can tell has a little record symbol on it on the machine, and then flicks on the button that has the little play. And we can hear Annabelle's dream. Annabelle, what are you dreaming about?
Probably. So you might be able to tell that she never was in Paris, but she's dreaming about riding roller coasters while trying out the latest fashion
Yeah, I
in
love it.
France.
You can tell because the sound of roller coasters is it's a very unique sound, and you can hear the people screaming in French, like "Zutolo," whatever. I don't really know any French. They make me take it here in Canada, but I wasn't very good at it. And it was Quebec French too, so different kind of French. Anyway, you could hear that sort of noise and then hear the sounds of like shop ringing up, and I think Fern nods to herself. She's pretty happy about the results of this experiment, and picks up some little things that look like goggles, like swim goggles or tan goggles. And she kind of on herself kind of like pulls open her eye, like, you gotta put it right in the eye. Well, I suppose that'll be for another night. And puts it down, packs everything back up, takes the helmet back off of Annabelle, tucks her back in, climbs back out, goes skipping back down the road, happy that her experiment won. And she's recording into a little recording machine. Experiment 1 is a complete success. Next time we're going to get some visual representation of this dream, and perhaps one day we can even get right into her brain and see what the different neurons are shooting. But we'll have to do that another time. Dr. Fern out. Click.
Oh my God. Jesus Christmas. Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. So, Ronnie is personally haunted, and by the time they were almost sacrificed, narrate a time that the rest of the team showed a dangerous disregard for your life. All right. This is one of the cases where we were in, as always happens in like a place like this, we were in an asylum, like an abandoned asylum, and we were investigating this very big place that was, of course, had paranormal activity in it, like trying to make sure that everything was okay. It was supposed to be a convergence from different directions to try and trap this particular ghost, like that we identified as like the doctor or whatever of this place. And I feel like Dr. Fern had just started to get her gooizer to work, and Annabelle was just like getting the hang of, with the presence and like being able to isolate how close it was, where it was, and like location beacon it or whatever the heck she does. And then Wayland was in charge of like trying to make sure that we had the rights, or not the rights, the protocol that correct about how to like isolate the doctor from trying to manifest in this place to try to come alive. So, I mean, he had the Handbook of Recently Deceased, or it's like one of the other, knowledgeable tomes about how to make sure that this doctor didn't go, cray, like, when we're trying to dispel his ghost. And Ronnie was trying to do the active thing by setting up the different cameras and, some of the different equipment that we needed to be able to not only monitor the situation, but also to help with the dispel. And everybody went off-piste. Like, whatever Dr. Fern was doing, what Annabelle was supposed to be doing, and what Wayland was doing was not according to plan whatsoever. And Ronnie was kind of stuck, literally holding the bag of the equipment, ready to go, but nobody else was in place. And there was a point where the doctor had cornered Ronnie in the highest room of this asylum, and Ronnie had to literally hang out of a window to make sure that the doctor wasn't going to apply his particular form of therapy on Ronnie. So, yeah, Ronnie is being extremely physical to make sure the doctor's not performing his version of lobotomy. Thank you very much. And then finally, the other investigators come and do what they're supposed to do to get into position. So, yeah, dangerous job, but somebody needs to be able to herd these meth cats. And I get to increase my wits by 1. Yay! All right, now.
I could imagine that the scene ends with when you're back inside,
Hmm.
everything's safe. That Annabelle comes up to you and says, "I'm so glad you're not dead yet, Ronnie.
Love it.
Do you
Love
mind
it.
getting us coffee?"
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and then immediately pulls out the phone from their back pocket, and then like types in the app for Timmy Star, for the usual order. Okay, so did the personal hauntings. Um, Now we are back at the Snowdrop, getting ready to check out. Actually, Ronnie's handling all of the checkout stuff, making sure that everybody's got their bags, nobody's left anything in their rooms, and then, like, doing the checkout procedure. What are you two doing
Uh,
specifically?
Dr. Fern is on her phone,
Mhm.
and she has just put it down and turns to Annabelle and says, "He's on his way." And she goes to one of her bags and pulls out a jar. And on the jar, there's a piece of masking tape with the word ghost and some duct tape on the thing. I think he's going to be really surprised. He's going to get a lot of really good views. And I think a few minutes later, Zach shows up. "So, do you want to see a real ghost? Better get your camera going, though."
Well, Fernie. And he pauses because you can tell he doesn't really have a bad conscience or something. Doesn't really feel bad. No hard feelings, right?
Of
That
course
whole
not.
thing with the museum, I just wanted to get more views, you know?
Yeah. You know what? I think I really respect what you do. You go out there and you're trying to make sure people know that these things are out there and they're real and they're dangerous and they should watch out for them. And you have a lot of viewers. I think that we could really use your help right now in making sure that people take this sort of thing seriously. And I think as she's talking, Dr. Fern is leading arm in arm again, leading Zach to that door
Mm-hmm.
that we
Annabelle
mentioned.
stands there and opens it, probably.
And I think Dr. Fern then rips the duct tape off of this jar. "You see, I trapped a ghost in here. There's a ghost that was in this spooky well. I trapped it in here a little while ago, and I need to find somewhere for it to go so it doesn't just bust out of this jar and, take over my soul or some such. So I think what I'm going to do is just release it into this portal. I don't know where it goes, but you are an explorer. Well, anyway," and she just unwraps the thing, opens it up, and out of the jar comes the ghost of the well and its horrifying like figure and grotesqueness, and then it immediately gets sucked in like a vacuum into the portal. "Bye, ghost." Now, how much charge does your phone have, Zach? Pretty good.
Yeah, like 90%.
Oh, that's plenty. All right, make sure that your recording is on. I'm really excited to see what sort of what you come up with. It is going to be a lot of like you can't really do a lot of in edit stuff, but yeah, have fun.
And then he turns it on and doesn't really look at Annabelle or Dr. Fern, and has the back to that room, you know, and he says, "Bro, you won't believe what I've seen, guys."
And that's when the portal sucks him in.
Oh, it's worth it.
I knew he would like that. I just knew it. And his viewers are going to, well, let's just say he's going to have a lot more subscribers.
And maybe not
Yeah.
of this world. Who closes the door?
I think it's probably
Annabelle,
Annabelle, yeah.
yeah. Maybe we should mention that to Ronnie.
Hmm. Good point. Good point. She probably wouldn't approve.
She never does for some reason.
Well, I suppose it's not their fault they're a stick in the mud.
And I suppose we end the scene there. Okay. So anyway, just as a mechanical thing, it's like I would say like between like this whole episode. I mean, I think between all of that, I think both Ronnie and Annabelle have cleared any conditions
Mm,
because yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like we've gotten over it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
go ahead and take those off. Um,
Okay.
yeah. I think so, especially the conditions that you had, which were risk averse and
Claustrophobia. Yeah.
claustrophobia. Yeah, I think they're definitely gone after all of that.
Yep. So we're good. All right. Wonderful.
Cool.
Okay. So
Very silly.
so ended another night at the Whaling Museum mystery. So, like not bad. Stars and wishes. So, I just want to give like wonderful stars to. It's just like the back and forth with all the shit going down at the Whaling Museum, and then, I mean that personal haunting, man. I mean Amanda, that was brilliant because you did a
Oh.
flashback within a flashback, and then you even added like like Michael in there to describe stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, that was just a hot jumble of what. So that was wonderful. And our game, like the way we play our game right now, it's like that's how it goes. And I will say it's a star, but it shouldn't be, but it is. You people are scary, man. I mean, like Ronnie's the only sensible one in this joint. I mean,
Uh,
you guys are freaking scary. So, wish that one, we get Brent back, like nice and healthy for next time, and then we just continue on with this, as Jack has put in another game, buffoonery.
mm,
Stars for we're not really we're playing a little hard and fast with some of the rules, but I think it's proving to be very fun, you know?
mm.
And I imagine any rules lawyers listening to this would probably be like, why are you doing it this way? But guess what? It's our game. And I think that's really what it is that the star is that we're really making this our game. I liked Zach, that character. Oh, the second he showed up, I wanted to punch him in his stupid face. And then he was calling me Fernie. Oh, I hate him. So I was like, well, I want to get vengeance on this guy, but also Dr. Fern isn't exactly a murderer, so I don't want it to be in a murdery way. That's just wrong. But Amanda wanted this guy to go, you know. So thank you for playing along with that because it was just yeah, and that character was so much fun, Michael. Thank you for bringing them to the stage. Mads, the whole interlude was hilarious. That was a lot of fun. I like this idea of a ice cream shop that has entrances everywhere all over the world. I think it'll be really fun that once Dr. Fern figures out that that's the situation, she's going to try and utilize that to travel around, and also try and figure out how it works and maybe make an experiment out of that too.
Oh, we can totally have fun with that. But I mean, like before when we get back to our town, which we still have to name,
Yeah,
and we need to get um, Waylon in there, and because I want to see what he thinks, and then
absolutely.
we could make that a regular thing, or we could make Betty's Diner a regular thing. Go watch that. Go watch that guest episode, people. It's very simple, very quick. No big deal.
Love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, because again, it's like these little bits and pieces. I mean, because again, it's like there's a little bit to make this like a mini series, but then we can also stretch it out and then like have these little interludes. Because again, like, okay, star for Annabelle bringing that thing in. It's like, I'm glad you're not dead yet. It's just like kudos, kudos.
Okay, so thank you very much. It was amazing playing with you again. I really liked seeing the dark side of Dr. Fern. And we didn't, I really appreciated you didn't murder Zach, but he's disposed, Maybe he'll reappear in some form, even if it's just like, on a screen, just as a running gag. And that personal haunting, that was chilling. Like seeing how you take care. Well, you drugged me, but you were kind about it in a way.
It's all in the name of science, so clearly that is an acceptable sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to hurt my friend.
And
With friends like that, you don't need no enemies, my God.
yeah. I really liked having that connection with Ronnie in the museum. So I in general, I feel like that we connected as investigators, so that was really cool. And yeah, it becomes even more apparent that Ronnie is like the most capable and most sensible person.
Ronnie's the factotum.
Yeah.
If this was the between, Ronnie would be the factotum. The
I mean-
factotum is the person who gets shit done in the between,
Yeah.
and the undeniable is the person who causes all the problems. That's usually how it happens.
If I get to play a factotum, which I don't really want to in my next iteration of our between game, but if I do get to play a factotum, this is how I'm going to be playing the factotum.
Yeah.
Very matter of fact, like kind of sarcastic and just getting shit done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed seeing late night Kates as well, and picking an ice cream flavor. Yeah, that was really, really nice. And also that that waiter that you mentioned, that was really, really cool detail. So I think as a wish, I'd probably well, since it's been established that Brindlewood Bay exists, maybe go back there for a weekend trip or meet your aunt again. That'd be nice.
I think the plan, well, like again, my plan is, and it's like, I don't know when this is going to happen. So hopefully by the time we, get to the end of our series or whatever, my plan is to have like companion pieces. Well, one mystery that I'm going to write for Paranormal Incorporated to lead us back to Brindlewood Bay, because we could play our investigators there at Brindlewood Bay, or it's create new mavens or whatever. But anyway, something that that's a kind of like
Tie-in, yeah.
tie-in. Yes, exactly. So I mean, it's going to be coming at from two different directions, because I'm thinking that the companion piece that leads us back to Brindlewood Bay would be bringing us to like a lead into a sweet kind of thing where it bring investigators, whether it be the murder mavens or like us, to another town connected to Brindlewood.
Yeah.
So I mean that's my intention. It's like, again, like a lot of nebulous ideas floating in there. But yeah, that is something I do want to do, because this is so much fun. Holy shit, that was great. So
my wish is to see more of what Zach is doing now that he is in this ominous portal. I want to actually see. Now I'm interested in what Zach's channel is doing.
I mean, again, we could have the through line. I mean, as Michael said, which is, like having his show appear randomly. Like,
I put a silly idea in chat, but we can talk about it later.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine? Shit.
Right?
Well, I mean, would he have his sponsors though? Would we have? I mean, like,
Well,
would
it's
we
a
have strange
YouTube
sponsors?
channel, so you would have commercials, right?
Well, I mean, like, again, sponsors. I mean, like, like he would do sponsorships in the void.
Anyway, just
Anyway.
very funny.
I mean,
Maybe that's where maybe he's in the fragrant void. Oh heck.
ah.
Mm, mm.
So
And then just as a note, for Annabelle, Michael,
yeah,
put in your backpack or whatever you want to put it in, like the
that
black
black card,
the
right?
black card with the phone number, and then
Yeah.
I'll have you determine what you want to use that for. So that's your thing now. Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty cool as well.
Thank you. No. No, that is
Sorry,
not the number.
I was joking in chat that because we were pulling so many sixes in the cards, the number is just all sixes.
No.
Fabulous. Wow, that was a lot of fun. I can't wait for next time. Hopefully, Brent will be back with us and feeling better. And I'm excited to play more games with you all.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop the recording.